Hello, gorgeous people. I hope you're all fine and doing well. I hope you had a lovely Christmas. Um, yes, I want to thank you all for your support. For the new subscribers, thanks for joining. To the returning subscribers and the guys have been with me since the beginning or forever, thank you for always watching. I'm gonna have a live on the 31st with somebody that I really like. Her name is Cynthia Wilson. She's another fellow Canadian. She's a mental health um, care worker in Canada, clearly. She does amazing TikToks about Harry and Meghan Markle and other stuff as well. And it's really, she's really funny. So you're gonna really don't want to miss that one because you're gonna see two Canadians going at it. So I hope you join us. It's gonna be at 9 a.m. Texas time. Yeah. So thank you very much. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the donations to the channel. Thanks for the money sent to buy city clothes. Thank for for everything. And yes, thank you very much for always being here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
It's amazing what people will do when offered a huge amount of money.
This place is amazing. I always highly recommend it. This place is in Matagalpa. It's a waterfall. It's really beautiful. It's called Ecoloch Blanco, so you should always go. I mean, I'm not being sponsored or paid for this. I'm just telling you, if you ever want to come to Nicaragua, well, you can always ask me for tips. Just email me. My email and everything else is in the video description. So you can check out my email address in the video description. Is always there. Okay, I always leave it there for you guys to send me emails and stuff like that. Um, I wanted to talk about this something that's been. I was yesterday at the hospital because I'm having issues with my kidneys, and this lady had her Netflix thing on. She was sitting right next to me, and she had her Netflix on her phone, and she was watching I Am Killer, right? And then uh, I I was watching it, so she was kind enough to let me watch it with her because I was there for hours. And then I just something that hit me hard because there's a story of these people, especially the first one. There's apparently a new series, and they just started it. And then this man, broke into an old lady's house, and they realized that they broke into the wrong house. And because she saw his face, he just shot and killed her. Somebody ratted him out, and he just basically executed the lady. And when they're interviewing him, he's always talking as to how he is a product of his upbringing, how if he had had more love and support, maybe he would have made better choices. And then in a different interview he talks about how he knew right from wrong, and actually he did know how to make the right choices. So, and it dawned on me, we don't all have the best upbringing in life. Sometimes, you wish you had better parents, or and I started thinking about Harry and Meghan Markle. Because Harry is a man who is, I mean, when we talk about privileged upbringing, we know for a fact, whatever Princess Diana failings many people want to attribute to her, that she was an incredibly loving mother. He didn't have to worry about where the next meal was going to come. His family had a long-standing tradition. He was protected, well cared for. He didn't suffer any abuse, nothing. He had the best of the best. For Meghan Markle is the same thing. Now they both want to portray themselves as people who didn't have a very good upbringing, who suffered. Meghan Markle, her parents were divorced, but credit to Mr. Markle, he kept a very civilized relationship with Doria in order to ensure that his daughter had, there was no acrimony, and they were able, his daughter was able to see his mom. To this day, Mr. Markle hasn't really said anything negative about Doria, not even as to where she was for almost 10 years. Okay? But she had two loving families to go to, her black side of the family and her white side of the family. And from what we've seen, they integrated and got along well, because we see a lot of pictures from that, that were taken even back then when there were no cameras. There's quite a lot of, for being the time, I know many young people nowadays don't understand that we just didn't walk around with a cell phone taking selfies, or, instead of enjoying the moment, we had to take a picture of it. It wasn't like that. Pictures were taken on birthdays and certain celebrations, but it's not like you're walking around with a camera. So, but even then, there are still quite a few pictures with Meghan and the Raglands with the Markles having Thanksgiving dinner. With, I mean, you can see that Meghan was loved by both sides of the family, and that Mr. Markle was a loving and present father, to the point that whenever it came to praising a parent in that UN speech, Meghan didn't praise her mother. I don't think she mentioned her at all. She praised her father, Mr. Markle, saying that all little girls should have fathers like him, because, he inspired her to be the woman that she is today. Which, if you think about it, it's quite scary. But at the time, she thought it in a positive manner, right?
Ahí me paso después la foto.
Now, we have Harry. Yeah, Harry says here, it's amazing what people would do for money. And I think he's right, because he's trying to blame Mr. Markle for the pictures that he took of himself to try and control the narrative to look better than what he was being portrayed in the media. And these are all my thoughts and opinions, and I believe that this negative portrayal of Mr. Markle was due to Meghan Markle. That she wanted to have her father negatively portrayed in the media to justify not having him at the wedding, or being crazy about things. And basically, they hate that Mr. Markle was trying to control his little narrative. And I think that even without knowing it, he was fighting back, because probably he didn't know where that negative media came from. Where were these people getting these ideas? Or, where were they, how, why? Or, the same thing for Samantha. And one of the things that struck me is that people, and I've seen a lot of people analyze Harry's body language in that mockumentary, because it's a mock. They're mocking, they're being mocked, and it's a mockumentary. They say, oh, but he's uncomfortable being there. He doesn't want to be there. You can see the contempt in his eyes. But he is there. He is there. He is getting paid for it. He has been consistently being there, even before he left the royal family, been planning with Meghan Markle. That people say, oh, he looks at her with contempt and blah, blah, blah. He's not in agreement with what she says. But he's not contradicting her, is he? So I am sick and tired of people, oh, Harry's unhappy with her. No, he's not. He went on the RFK thing, the foundation thing, saying he idolized this woman. This is, I think, 6th of December. This is after all that he had done and said at the Netflix mockumentary. So for people to say that he's disgusted by her, or that he's, and many people say, oh, but he's being brainwashed and blah, 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 blah. There were no amounts of beatings that I took that would stop me from seeing right from wrong. Or, when I knew something wasn't right, I was not going to let it stand. I walked away. I did not use my son as an excuse. I have never used, people use it, oh, I'm staying in the marriage because of the kids and blah, blah, blah. If you're in an abusive situation, get the fuck out of there. I know people say, it sounds easy for you to say, no, it's not easy because I've been through that. It's not easy at all. At all. It's not easy. And it takes a lot of courage. And I understand why a lot of women stay in a relationship like that. So, and I'm not mocking anybody, if you're in an abusive relationship, I just want to say, I'm sorry, I'm just going to be out of the, if you're in an abusive relationship as a female, I know it feels like, you can't get out of it. I know that there's a lot of fear. I know that you think nobody will understand, nobody will understand, and you're embarrassed that you stay there. But no, people will understand. Somebody will listen. Somebody will help you. And nobody will judge you. So, I mean, if you're in an abusive relationship, by no means, I'm no expert. But if you want to write to me and just, vent out, I know sometimes that's important. I'm sorry I made a little like that. But what I wanted to say about this thing is that I've seen a lot of people. I mean, Harry's right when he said it's amazing what people would do for money. And the body language guys, they said something like, they just did a video about how if Mr. Markle took money from those pictures, it talks about his character and not the amount of money that he took. And I started wondering about that, because Mr. Markle did not sell out Meghan Markle when he took those pictures. And this is what people, the narrative has been, for some reason, and even with the body guys, and I love them. But at the very end, they said, you know what, Mr. Markle, as a parent, he shouldn't have taken money for taking pictures. But whose pictures were those that he took? Those were pictures of himself. He never said anything negative about Meghan Markle, nor disclosed anything about his daughter. Those were pictures of him measuring himself for a suit, because his daughter should have sent it for him. She never sent him any help, unlike Doria, because he no longer fit her narrative. So who did he betray? When Doria comes and says, oh, a parent who takes money for, benefiting from his daughter. How was Mr. Markle benefiting from Meghan Markle there? Those pictures were of himself. He didn't sell pictures of Meghan Markle or he didn't sell any narratives or any stories about her. It was just pictures of himself trying to look better rather than the way that he had been portrayed. He was trying to control the narrative the way Meghan had done all her life through the TIG, to everything. She's always trying to portray a narrative. When she went to Malta, she's always lying to portray a narrative. So for that, I started thinking that also led me to that unlike Mr. Markle, that those pictures were about himself and not harming anybody. The documentary, The Cut, Oprah Winfrey, all the articles, all the appearances that Harry and Meghan Markle have done have been financially motivated. And it's been done on the backs of trashing, lying, and slandering the royal family. It hasn't been to improve their image for the things they've done. We know we've done this, we've done that. It's been like, no, they're terrible people. They've done this to us. They've done this, they've done that. It has never been about, oh, you know what? Well, we were in the royal family. We did this. It was great. These causes were very positive, and we would like to continue with this. I saw a TikToker that said, had Harry and Meghan started with saying, you know what? We should have done this better, or we could have handled this better, taking some accountability for the fact that they left. And then that also got me thinking, why would they take accountability? Because that would mean that they didn't really mean to leave. That would mean that they wouldn't have any footage. But it's very clear from everything that from the get-go, this was all a plan. And I will, I will post, please, if you have the time, Go back to my earliest videos, my first, second, third, or fourth. All of those are about Harry and Meghan Markle doing a video and a thing from Netflix. Okay? How they were leaving, how they were being secretive, not private, because they needed to sell the footage to Netflix. I've been saying this all along. Please go back to those videos if you have the time. They're short. They're like 5 minutes. And why would they take accountability? And I've always said this reference, like when you have no money and you go to a Michelin star restaurant, knowing you have no money, and you eat the best that is there at that restaurant, knowing full well you have no money to pay. So what you do in order to avoid paying is basically blame everything. The food wasn't good. The waiter spat on my food. I was treated badly. Somebody was racist towards me. Just to get out with a justification for first committing the grift and the fraud and trying to get out of there without any consequences. It has always been my analogy with Harry and Meghan Markle. So I also think, why would they hold accountable to anything if they never intended to stay? If this was always their plan. The problem is, and I've been saying this all along, the royal family, the queen, made it harder for her to complain about anything because she was given more than everybody else. Okay? So she made it harder to claim the things that she's claiming, but she's claiming them anyways. I'm sorry if I'm going on about this because I'm getting somewhere. The alleged affair of Prince William with Rose Hanbury. I went back and I've been looking at this. Harry announced that Meghan was his girlfriend. I think it was November or December 2016, right? I'll leave my white girlfriend with white girlfriend, I don't know how to call it, alone. The next year in July, I believe, end of July, was the Spanish state banquet when the king came to visit the queen. And Meghan, of course, was not invited. But guess who Harry was sat next to? Yes, that's Rose Hanbury in July. At that point in time, I don't know if Catherine, Her Royal Highness Catherine, the Princess of Wales, was pregnant yet because it's July, and I think Lou is born next year in April. But apparently, Rose Hanbury had a dinner the month after that, or 2 months after that, where she invited, of course, Harry, because they've always been good friends of the family. And Meghan wasn't invited. Prince William was there, because of course, I think there was a dinner that it was held at the then Duke and Duchess of Cambridge house. And Rose was there as well. And suddenly, we see all these rumors that Prince William is having an affair with Rose Hanbury. I mean, at this point in time, I don't understand why people are saying that they're not aware of what they're doing, that Harry doesn't want to be there when he clearly does. Otherwise, he wouldn't be sitting right next to her, listening to her lie and contributing to her lies with his presence and even corroborating some of the lies she's saying and even spewing some lies himself. They're talking about being chased by Paps, a lonely guy in a Vespa following him in New York. I mean, what is he going to deliver? A package? It is really a mockumentary, but it is to me, I mean, my perception is how everything is sophistry, how the pictures of Mr. Markle about trying to look good himself became about Meghan Markle. Why were those pictures embarrassing? I don't understand what the big deal with that was. I was surprised that the body language guys also missed the point in that, because he's saying, well, he's making money of his daughter. How was Mr. Markle making money of his daughter? He was trying to control the narrative as well. Because if you look at pictures prior to that, he was portrayed in a terrible light. He was portrayed, and he did ask for help to Meghan Markle, and she refused. Now, are you trying to tell me also that Meghan Markle said, I kept texting my dad and he wasn't there. I didn't know how to get a hold of him. There's something called the MI6 in the United Kingdom. I'm pretty sure that if Meghan wanted to get a hold of her father, she would have. It is, to me, I see Jeremy Clarkson coming to the light. That he writes one article and he's being called a misogynist because he criticized Meghan Markle. Criticism is not racism. Criticism of somebody's lies and behavior is not racism. It's not misogyny. It's simply calling and exposing somebody's lies, especially when those lies are harming others. Now, everybody's making a big deal about this political magazine that came and compared Meghan to Donald Trump, to Kanye West, Elon Musk, the girl that committed fraud that is in jail, I think, and the guy with the cryptocurrency thing. And then Meghan Markle in the center. I disagree with that for this reason. Meghan Markle hasn't achieved anything. Donald Trump is a self-made, he's a very successful man, a former president. Kanye West is a self-made billionaire, incredibly talented. Wherever your things land, he is incredibly talented. You know, he's creative, he's hardworking. He may have bipolar disorder, whatever. But we cannot deny he's a clever guy who's made his money and who is incredibly talented. Elon Musk, well, yes, you need to be have some ego in order to get there. But this is Elon Musk we're talking about. And Twitter has been a much better space for free speech since he got it. But before that, we had Tesla sending, rockets. I mean, this guy's pretty smart. He's a very these are highly accomplished individuals. That girl from who managed to con everybody about the blood drop. I can't remember her name. Theranos, the girl from Theranos. That I can see with Meghan Markle. The guy with the cryptocurrency, also I can see that with Meghan Markle. But Kanye, Elon, and Trump, no. I'm going to read something to you here, and I'm sorry this is a longer video, but I really wanted to read this to you. This is from Vanity Fair. I am not a Trump fan. I know people think I am, but I'm not. It's just that you cannot hide the sun with one finger just because you put it like that. This is from February 2017. How Donald Trump beat Palm Beach society and won the fight for Mar-a-Lago, but not the way you think. One of the things that have plagued Donald Trump for some reason is that he's racist. That he hates black people, he hates Jews, he hates Latinos. I can tell you from the Latino community, at least the majority that I speak of, that we love, we're mostly Republicans, basically. I used to be a Democrat. I used to be a hardcore Democrat, but that changed. And I was looking at that. What many people don't understand is when he first moved to Florida and in Palm Springs and he wanted to build Mar-a-Lago, he had to fight Palm Springs because he wanted to include black people and Jewish people into his country club. And he was told no. He was given so many restrictions and he was almost vetoed from not building that. So he fought a legal battle and he won. He was the first one to allow black people and Jewish people into the country club, his country club. But this, because it happened, I think in the 1990s, is, in the 1990s when he was building Mar-a-Lago. I'm just looking here at the article because these are the things that bother me, because he did this while nobody was looking and nobody thought of bringing this up. I'm sick and tired of people saying things about, he's a big old racist. I don't agree with a lot of the crap he says. I really don't. I really didn't like, I think he puts too much orange tan, he should really go easy on that tan. I didn't like him in The Apprentice. Believe it or not, I liked Omarosa, but that's neither there nor there, right? And then it is incredible. If I'm gonna leave the link of this article so you can read it. It's Vanity Fair, and they're talking about how Donald Trump took on Palm Springs to allow inclusiveness in his elite country club of Black and Jewish people. And then we have Meghan Markle, who has all her life been embarrassed of being Black, of done her best to not be part of that culture because she felt she's too white. Therefore, she cannot connect with that culture. Or she didn't want to. She didn't want to, whichever way you like it. She had the option. Mr. Markle made sure that she saw her Black relatives. Everything about it. It's been about being embarrassed, being ashamed. I mean, even in her mockumentary, she goes, nobody ever thought I was Black. And she goes to her features. She uses her face to show. That's a way of showing that, why would anybody think I'm Black? And there's disgust when she says that. To sum up all this long thing, it's just that, yesterday when I was at the hospital, I started thinking a lot, because you're sitting there in a chair, and then in your dialysis, and you're thinking, and you're contemplating life and everything. And you're thinking, and I'm watching this Black guy who's doing 60 years in jail saying you're the product of your upbringing. And then I started thinking about all of that because we're all about choices in life. And I remember one of my friends who is a psychologist, she said, you know what, Paula, as a child, we don't have an option to what happens to us, especially when we don't have a network of families that we can go to, which is why I say that it is incredibly dangerous for Harry and Meghan Markle's children, if they have any, to not have any network. Doria was never a licensed therapist. And you know what's the comeback that many people have said to me? Well, she never claimed it. Actually, yeah, there were articles that Doria was a licensed therapist. There's even a tweet about how Meghan Markle was proud of her mother. But of course, I've tried to Google it and it's all gone. Now she's a stewardess and it doesn't say anything about being a therapist. But before, she was a therapist. Now she's a stewardess and she had a business and then she went bankrupt. And then she went back to university in 2015 and there's no mention of the mental health thing. I guess because it would look bad that she didn't help her own daughter. But even if she was an associate mental health, because an associate means that you work under somebody who has the license until you have accrued the hours and the knowledge necessary for you to be certified as such. So either she didn't accrue the hours because she let the license expire or it was canceled, because I don't know, maybe because she didn't have the hours, so they decided to cancel it. Because one thing is for it to expire, the other thing is for it to be canceled. Because apparently it was canceled in 2021. Why would she need to work anymore? Harry was giving her money. She has like $9.5 million right now in the bank for a woman who never owned a home. A woman who didn't have a career, never worked in a career. A woman who wasn't around her daughter at all. Now it's coming with this false narrative. So if Harry and Meghan are a product of their upbringing, why couldn't they be better human beings? Because they had everything in life. So I don't think we're a product of our upbringing. We're a product of our choices. And we are who we are because we choose to be that way. But that's basically what my whole rambling thing has come about to. People say nature versus nurture. You can be brought up in the most loving environment and you can still turn out like Harry and Meghan Markle because Prince William was also brought up in that environment. And he turned out pretty good, if you ask me, but he turned out amazing. We have Ted Kaczynski and David Kaczynski, both brought up in very loving environments, the same environment, different outcomes. So Harry and Meghan Markle have chosen the path of nastiness, nothing positive. Nothing positive. They haven't started anything. Everything they do is they go back to when they were royals and they were working with these causes. There's nothing positive about them. There's nothing of substance. And the sugar is sending me death threats or emails and stuff like that. So you know, most of my videos are yellow. Yellow means that you don't get fully monetized because the topics I talk about are, for some reason, taboo. Because people say, oh, you're making a lot of money. Some of them are even red. They say that, you can still have the video up. Sometimes they've taken down my videos. But when you have the red thing, it means that you can't monetize it at all. And most of my videos have a yellow mark, which means that limited ads, it's limited monetization, which is why I don't make a lot of money in this channel. People think that this is what I do for a living. I don't. Okay, because most of the topics, and many of you say, oh, you're baiting with the title and stuff like that. And I've said this many times, and I don't think people understand that. But even the titles of the video, I think Daniel Boland, I follow him. It's really funny. You guys have pointed out to him, but I actually spoken about him. He's really funny. He just made a big deal about his video and getting a warning about not being monetized and blah, blah, blah. And he had to apply for review. I have to do that every time. Every time I load up a video, I have to, it's always yellow. Sometimes it's red. And then I have to ask for a review, and I always, I'll send you, I'll post the next time all the emails I got, your video, but it's not suitable for ads. It's not suitable for ads. Because of how I cover the topics, whatever. I don't know what the guidelines is. I've asked many times and they never reply. So Harry and Meghan Markle choose to be assholes in spite of the fact they had the best of the best. They were taught morals. They were taught right from wrong. And as my friend said, as a child, you have no control over what happens to you. But as an adult, you know the difference between right and wrong. And you cannot go back and keep blaming your childhood. Because now you know what's right and wrong. You can use that as an excuse to say, oh, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. If you're abused in a home, or if you're beat up, if you're beaten up when you're growing up, you can choose, you know what? I know how it feels. I'm not going to do that to my kids. Or you're going to say, you know what? Because I was beat up, I'm going to beat you up and I'm going to do it even worse. But I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Apologies for this, but it's just, maybe I'm a little bit emotional because of the hospital yesterday. But yeah, what do you guys think? Are Harry and Meghan Markle a product of their upbringing, or are they just nasty people who and people go back to blaming the parents. The parents do the best they can. But it's not their fault the kids turn out a lot of times like that. People say, oh, Mr. Markle overspoiled her. Maybe. But he was trying to be a loving father and trying to make up for the fact that he wasn't around from Samantha and Thomas Markle. I spoil my kid. I spoil City. I know I shouldn't compare City with Henrik, but to me, she's my daughter. My canine daughter, but she is. And Henrik turned out okay because his nature is different. He's a very sweet man. Henrik, my son, is an amazing kid. And you guys have no idea what he went through as a child because of his father. You have no idea. I am amazed that, he's studying aerospace engineering. He's doing very well. He's a very kind and thoughtful man. Kind to others. I'm very grateful that he's that way. So, but I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that Harry and Meghan Markle are entitled to spew all this bile and not be called out? Do you think they're entitled to spread rumors? Only they are entitled. But if we call them out, it's misogyny, it's racism, it's envy, it's jealousy. I mean, do you think Mr. Markle was exploiting Meghan Markle when he took pictures of himself to improve his image? do you think that Doria is selling out his daughter more because he's actually benefiting from hanging around Meghan Markle? She's the one with over $9 million in the bank. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please do leave your comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate all your support. And thank you very much, as usual, for watching what I have to say. I'm sorry if I'm a little bit low today. I'm just still recovering. But don't forget to join in for the live on the 31st.